Welcome back to Exposed, and if you're just tuning in, we were just talking about the transportation issues in town, and now we're going to be moving on to lack of housing in Kahnawake. So what do you guys think about the housing situation in town?
Well, we definitely have a lack of housing.
Yeah.
For, I guess, people at our age, we're at that age where, you know, we can't really afford to build a house yet, and we need some more a rentable space, but there isn't that many available in town, and well, we're at the age where some of us might not necessarily want to live with our parents anymore. Not that we have anything against them, but
Yeah, you just want your own independence.
Yeah,
there shouldn't really be a lack of housing in Kahnawake considering all the new development they have out there. It really there's so many places where you can put something up, even to like make a small apartment building for, like you said, college and Sept and university students like us. Just looking for a room or just looking for a dorm.
Yeah, or even like a duplex complex kind of thing. I find a lot of people. Well, some people are against the whole idea of bringing an apartment complex to town, and I know there's a group on Facebook called that, but I think people have this image in their head when they think apartment complex, and they think like shaggy, like big building,
skyscrapers.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that way. I mean,
well, no, because like if you see like there are some places in town that you could not consider, well, yeah, kind of almost apartment complexes, like the one on top of Paul's car wash.
Yeah.
And then there's one right down the road from Kahnawake Pizzas and Stops. I mean, like those are like what could be put up, for students, looking for a dorm, just looking for a place to live away from their parents,
And it's not even just students, especially in our generation, there's so many people who are our age who have kids now, so
small families.
They're small families, but they maybe they can't afford to build a house, or they don't want to build a house right now, but they can't live. They don't want to live with their parents and their kids and their kids. They want to have their own space. So I think it's needed, especially for that too, because we're reproducing pretty quickly in this town. So
I think I guess that question I'll ask: whose responsibility do you think this is to see that this issue is dealt with?
Well, I think our government should do that, which is the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake. They're the ones that deal with all the funds. They have all the budgets. I don't know who else should be doing it. It should be them. They're spending all kind of money on other things when I think what we really need is housing. I really think that we need that, and I think they should really think about where the money should go.
It's like the housing situation is, well, I don't want to say it's so bad, but I mean it's to the point that people have to move to Shadigi and move to the city and can't live here, and I think that's a shame because I love living here, and I'd hate to see people in that situation where they can't, and I find it's all about connections and getting housing here. Pretty much like every other thing in town, but I'm lucky that myself and my boyfriend were able to rent a place from his aunt, and we have that connection, but other people aren't so lucky, and
well, like I said, it's all about connections. You need to have that connection, that person that or that person that your mom knows or that your aunt knows. Like you said, it's about connections in town, and it shouldn't really be like that. If you have a place to rent out, you should really be able to rent out to anybody. It should be really posted up, but like you say, lack of housing. So
yeah, when I think of somewhere to live, there's lack of housing, I think of when they were starting the new development, they have a lot of duplexes in that area, and that's like a good. I think that's what people are looking for.
They built those conjoined ones.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
Because it's not like a huge space, and it's not too small where you're paying an excessive amount of money for this little room. It's affordable.
On the bright side, Chief Martin LeBourne's housing initiative was announced at the summer community meeting, and 6 homes are going to be built. Like it's going to be like a kind of like an apartment complex, but it's going to be in town. But it's for elderly and handicapped, or well, disabled people. And although this may not necessarily apply to, I guess, our age group, but it's in that right step that maybe something will happen next.
It's a start.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense because like once you get like, you know, once they start building there, then they can branch out into other places where they can build dormitories or little other apartment complexes for youth or small families. No.
I think like an important factor too is the location of where these things are going to be, because people say apartment complexes and you think like, oh well, is this place going to be right next to my house? You know, like how are people going to feel if there's like this big, you know, structure next to your house? You know,
is it going to be a big eyesore? Or
yeah,
not, you know?
yeah. So, but I don't know. I find we have pretty good architecture here in town.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. It's not ugly.
It's not really. You're not really gonna like I said, you're not really gonna put up a 5-story building there where it's gonna block out sun from like all the houses that are on the block. You know, it's not gonna be like that. You know, they can make it so small or 1 story. You know.
Yeah.
There's so many options there. You don't have to be like Shaggy or Montreal. You know.
It's funny how you say that though, because I find because we don't have zoning in town that some people, I guess, don't take that respect to your neighbor when they build houses, or like, I know, like, I'm not against, you know, the apartment complexes or buildings that are in town right now, like the ones you have mentioned previously, but I'm sure that the neighbors aren't too pleased with them, and I can understand that. So I guess that's, well, whether it's the MCK or if it's going to be a private owner who decides to make an apartment building or some rentable spaces, that they take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like you said, I mean, not everyone's going to be happy with the decisions like that could happen, but you know, like, there's not, like, everybody's moving out of town because they can't live in town. I mean, I'm pretty sure you want your community to stick together, so really it'd be for the better. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be an apartment complex. It's gonna be maybe 2 stories. You know, you're not gonna like it at first, but you get used to it. You know?
Yeah, just like anything else.
And you have to think like
it's just really, really needed.
yeah.
I think it's so bad that some people, you know, they'll settle for a house that's in town that's, I guess, not the best house to live in, maybe not the safest house to live in, or something that's substandard. And well, we shouldn't be living in houses like that either.
No, you shouldn't be living in those kind of houses. I mean, but that's to where it's gotten us right now. That's where the lack of housing gotten us to where people are desperate enough to get that. And I've seen people walking around putting up. I've actually seen people putting up papers saying looking for housing. They'd have their numbers there on the tag, and you know, I mean, that's how bad it's gotten in town. I've actually seen people do that.
I guess, well, so the housing situation is something that the youth in Kahnawake are concerned about, as well as transportation and the importance of school. And so that's
a wrap.
Yeah, that's a wrap for the end of the show.
So this was our first show, and if you have any feedback, feel free to email us or call the station here. And just to reiterate why we're here again, we're all very concerned youth of Kahnawake, and we just want to get our opinions out there and talk about these issues and get more people aware and involved in the community in these issues. If you have any thoughts or opinions, just put them out there.
I hope you enjoyed the show, and see you again in 2 weeks' time. Anna.
Anna.